We're here with head coach Danny Schmitz. And coach, why don't you go ahead and summarize the fall?
Well, I thought our fall was a very good fall, very solid fall. And it was a very important fall once again, because this year, once again, we are a tad on the young side. So I believe we had 12 or 13 freshmen a year ago coming on in, and this year we had 10. And so having the 5 weeks to go ahead and be able to work with the first year guys, I thought was very, very important. Try to get them acclimated to Falcon baseball and trying to get everybody on the same page. So not only our freshmen or first year guys, but to get them going along with our veteran players.
And coach, why don't you talk about some of the guys that maybe stood out this fall that surprised you a little bit?
Well, I'd tell you what, and that question right there, I think a couple of freshmen really jumped out at us. And Jesse Raid, who's a freshman center fielder, along with Brian Bean, who's a freshman shortstop. But I thought both young men had tremendous falls. Also, freshman pitchers, Andrew Lasinick, along with Jason Link, I thought threw the ball very, very well. So we're excited about that. Tyler Wynn is a transfer in from Cleveland State. We were working him out at third base and the outfield a little bit, so we expect him to be an impact next spring and bring some senior leadership there. But he is a first-year guy in our program. Some of the other guys that I thought really had outstanding falls, I thought Jeremy Shea, Matt Pizzuto, Jake Thomas really had a nice fall for us. TJ Losby was real solid behind the dish. So, those are just a few off the top of my head as far as position players. Pitching wise, the guys that we thought would perform very well did exactly that, and that's exactly what we need. We have, of course, Cordy Apthorpe, Mike Frank, Pat Martin. Ben Singer, I think, is going to be a guy that's really going to have to fill some shoes that were vacated by Ross Gerdeman last year. So those are some of the key guys right now.
Coach, maybe talk about, you touched on it a little bit there, but how you plan to fill the shoes of John Birdie and Ross Gerdeman, who were drafted, and then you had 4 or 5 other guys who graduated last year.
Right, so yeah, we have holes, I guess, basically at the corners, with Frank Berry leaving us from third base and Clay Duncan at first base. So Tyler Wynn and Logan Walker will be battling it out there at third base. With John Birdie departing, we have Brandon Howard, who was redshirted last year after breaking his foot, I guess, mid to late March and everything, and he was redshirted last year as a freshman. And then Brian Bean, who I mentioned earlier. I mean, we got a great battle going right there at shortstop, and one will stay and one will probably move someplace and everything, but we expect both young men to be in the lineup someplace. Over at first base, we're hoping a healthy Drew Coons will be over there along with Jeremy Shea. They'll be battling it out at first, but of course Jeremy has the capabilities of catching too, so Jeremy's definitely going to see time behind the dish. And Jeremy was put in the number 4 slot last year as a freshman, so we expect him to be somewhere in the middle of the lineup again. And as far as replacing Ross, as I mentioned, we have Ben Singer. I think is going to be a big key there. He was in that role in a limited basis last year, but now it's time for him to take that over. But I think he'll get some push from those freshmen that I mentioned also.
And also the Falcons were named one of the top recruiting classes of 2012 would be the incoming class by Baseball America yesterday. Maybe touch on that, as you have already some of the guys that will come in and fill a role.
Yeah, I thought it was another a solid recruiting class, and that was very important because the year before we felt that was a very good recruiting class, and basically that's the foundation of the program now. We have very limited, I guess, experience in regards to the junior and senior class. I believe we have 4 in the senior class. And then another 5 in the junior class. But a guy like a Nick Bruns is going to be very, very important there too. Nick has had 2 outstanding years for us as a pitcher. He started as a starting pitcher last year, and then we kind of were moving him into the closer's role this last year, at the end of last year, and I think that's kind of where he'll be at. But he's going to be a big key. We're going to be led by our seniors. I'm going to be honest with you. They are all juniors. So we have Matt Pizzuto, we have Cody Apthorpe, and we have Nick Bruns. So and I think they're doing a tremendous job. not only with the chemistry, I think that's very, very important, but the gelling of the team, especially with it being young. So they're doing a real nice job that way.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Okay, you're welcome, Scott. Thanks for having us.